Hey everybody, welcome to Guided Listening. Jeff Antoniuk here from Jazzwire, and we've got a good one for you today. This is Art Pepper meets the rhythm section. Not just any rhythm section, the rhythm section. This was Miles's rhythm section in 1957. So it's Red Garland on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, Philly Joe Jones on drums. And some interesting stories about sort of the session and how it got set up and how it went down. So we'll get into that in just a second. But a couple days ago, I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was at the Center for the Performing Arts, and we did a free jazz workshop there. We had 20 folks come out. We had a blast together, and that's getting ready for the Twin Cities Summit workshop, 3-day workshop that I'm going to be doing in Minneapolis this coming July 17, 18, 19. And then we have a participant concert on the 20th at Ice House in Minneapolis. The night before we get started, the faculty is doing a gig at Metronome Brewery. So we've got like a whole week of wonderful stuff. So if you're in Minneapolis, Twin Cities area, and interested in coming out and joining us, we would love to have you with us. And by the way, if you're with a jazz society or a university or a high school or whatever, I would love to come visit you where you're at, so always feel free to reach out to me, and we could do something like this in your neck of the woods too. Okay, so we're going to be listening to You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To, a standard that I've loved for a good long time. And Art Pepper, so he's, if we name, 3 alto players, if we name 10 sax players, Art Pepper may not be on that top list. It probably wouldn't be for me. We're thinking about Bird and Cannonball. Maybe we're thinking about more contemporary guys like Kenny Garrett or Patrick Bart. There's so many great players. Art Pepper, one of the absolute monsters, really had his own style. He was a West Coast musician. He was in the Army for a while, drug problems and prison and the whole bit. So, so for a number of reasons, he wasn't on the scene as much as plenty of other folks. The story with this session, which you can get right from the liner notes or Wikipedia or wherever, is that the producer of the session wanted to take advantage of the fact that Miles was in town, was in LA, and set up a session with the rhythm section for Art to join them. So depending which story you listen to, Art had not even seen his saxophone in either 2 weeks or 4 months. Either way, that's crazy. His horn wasn't really working. He hadn't played, he wasn't prepared. And so he got this call, come to the session, we're come to the studio, we're gonna do this little thing. The producer didn't tell him who the group was. When he got there, he almost had a freaking heart attack and left, honestly, because these were heroes of his, of course, right? So, man, what a setup. I can't imagine, I don't even want to hear me play if I haven't played in weeks. I don't even know what that's like. I don't know if the last time I haven't played in weeks, maybe a 10-day vacation I took or something like that. And of course, this ended up being, one of his, most people point to this as one of his, the great albums. Let's jump in. This is called You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To. So interestingly, no bass, piano and drums. And there comes the bass. So that's an interesting decision. Not sure what that was about, aside from maybe Paul Chambers was still like walking into the room and picking up his bass as they started. I'm not sure what that was about. And it's interesting, right at the end of that little intro, dot, 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 there was, Red played this, very specific rhythm. Let's listen if Philly Joe picked that up with him as well. When we listen to these things, I'm always interested. As a pro, I know what it's like to be on stage or in the studio, totally faking stuff, making it up, right? Like that's actually what we get paid to do. But there are times we want to have things arranged and in place. So if we're thinking about Horace Silver or Art Blakey or groups like that, where the arrangements were such a big deal, plenty of other artists where the artist's interpretation of the song was the big deal. No arranging whatsoever. It's all good, it all works. Let's check it out again. No bass. And here's that little rhythm I was talking about. Yeah, so it sounded like Philly Joe caught that rhythm. They worked that out. And a great bouncing two feel. The bass is playing essentially half notes. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. But the little kicks in between the half notes is what makes it so great. And in Art's playing, there's so many subtleties. It's astounding that he had a reed that worked, that his air was good. It's amazing. It doesn't make sense to me, that story. Woo! So from the brushes and the two feel to swing, right? So it sounds like Art's articulating a lot. A lot of those eighth notes, really placing each note. You hear that? So it's different than a lot of other players. And again, the smoothness, the legato-ness of his delivery, finger-wise but air-wise, it's peerless. It's astounding, and to think that he hadn't played in weeks or months. Now, listen to Red Garland's comping. How he waits for spaces in what Art's doing to add and to kick it along, and not getting in his way as he's playing. It's really just big boy comping. And did you hear how the energy pulled back? I'm not sure if Philly Joe changed cymbals, but the rhythm section just sounds different now that it's a trio than the quartet. Sure, there was sax before, but they are playing differently now that they're a trio. I'm noticing Red's comping is more legato, more sustained. Usually it's kind of a little bouncier, just in my memory, and the way he was playing behind Art. So he gave a different sound for himself in his comping. So we've already heard 2 or 3 or 4 switches from sticks to brushes, and you've never noticed, have you? That's a hard thing to do. Every drummer on earth has dropped their sticks and brushes 10,000 times trying to make those slick switches. I bet there's another coming here, another switch. He just went right from brushes and now he's holding sticks. Master. Listen to the snare talking to the bass drum. So that was mostly a snare drum. Like I didn't hear too much bass drum in there, but that happens a lot. You hear that? Blah, blah, go down, blah, blah, go down. It's a cool way to listen to bebop drumming. There's very often that. Double time Latin superimposed. So in that spot, Philly Joe thought they were going back to the head. He brought it back to the hi-hat, but Art kept playing, and so he moved away from the hi-hat back to the louder cymbal. So there was a little, miscommunication there. Did you feel that big shift when Art went to the melody? The entire band changed. Everything everybody was doing changed because where we were in the music changed. It should have. It did. Yeah, so there were some arranged elements in there for sure. All right, fantastic. So I've always loved this album. It's one that I want to dig into more. I've worked on some of those transcriptions. Some of his solos from this album are fantastic for someone that's newer to transcribing or wanting to, been told by a teacher, do some transcribing or play some solos. Art's got chops for sure, and he'll play double time and all that stuff, but he plays so much great stuff. It's so swinging and very accessible. So if you're looking at doing some transcribing or learning some solos to sing along with, this album is a really, really good one. And, like I said, knowing the background, the behind the music of any recording is always fun, and there's always some crazy stories. It doesn't matter how straightforward everything went. There's always something that wasn't according to plan and whatever else. So the story of this one's, I just can't even wrap my head around how someone would play the saxophone like that weeks or months after playing, and not preparing. That's the other thing. It's like his head wasn't even in the game, let alone, oh, I'm going to be making an album, let alone it's going to be with the most renowned rhythm section in the world. So yikes. So if you're a producer and want to set me up with the most renowned rhythm section in the world, please give me some warning. I would appreciate that. All right. Well, that's an album that if you haven't listened to it in a while, or if it's kind of gotten by you, and I understand why it would, check it out. It's fantastic. And you heard a bit of it there. So, all right. I hope you all have a great week. And as I said, if I can ever be of service to your jazz society or to your jazz program or the county or Allstate or whatever, I do that stuff all the time. And, just reminded of that after having a nice weekend in Minneapolis. All right, y'all, take care. Have a great week.